Hello everyone and welcome to yet another video in my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I am Vijay and I make videos around AI and LLMs. So if this is something that interests you, then please do consider subscribing to my channel. With that, let's dive into today's video. So this is going to be the beginning of a new project using LangGraph. So of course this is going to be a series of playlist or series of videos in this playlist. This video in particular will be an introduction to this project. We'll see what the problem statement is, what the core idea or core pain point that we're trying to solve, what the tech stack would be, and so on. Um, so to give a like a sort of idea what this project is, as you can see, it is going to be a Reddit thread analyzer. I have already named it, given it a name. It's called ThreadSense. I'm not sure why, but yeah, there you go. But before going and discussing about the problem statement and tech stack and so on, right, I wanted to discuss about my idea behind uh, building such project and the kind of approach that I want to follow. If you have been already following some of my videos, you will see that I've worked on a project uh, named the text to SQL, and the and this project will follow a similar structure. Now what do I mean by and like what kind of structure did I follow? Now I don't want to be like any other playlist or like any other project video on YouTube where it's like a 20 minutes video explaining an end to end, giving you all the code ready to use, and no just laid out all of them for you to just pick it up and run it in your local machine. That's not what I want to necessarily work on, because I think you'll find similar projects already available on the internet. The way I want to approach this, and similar to what I did with the previous project as well, is that I want to uh, help you build that kind of intuition that's required to go from 0 to 1, 1 to 10, and 10 to 100 for a project, right? So what I mean by that is, when you initially start a project, you just maybe just have a bare idea of what you want to do, but as and when you build the project, you'll see the drawbacks of your approach, you'll see areas of improvement, you'll tend to learn new concepts, and it then just goes from that 0 to 1, 1 to 10 scale, right? So we'll follow a similar approach. I don't want to give you in fact, to be honest, I'm not sure what the end goal of this project is. I just have the core pain point that I'm trying to solve, but I don't know what the end project is going to be, and that is something that I'll build progressively over the course of next few weeks. So what I'm essentially trying to say is, in you generally what happens is, you start with a idea, right? You tend to work on it, build some basic workflows, like some initial steps, and then maybe you'll have to take a decision, maybe in terms of what LLMs you want to use, what kind of frameworks you want to use, and so on. And then you realize maybe one of the things is something beyond your scope of understanding at the point, so you pursue another problem, like pursue another way, and then you have to decide, make some decisions here. You realize maybe these two are maybe time consuming, or maybe just not the right fit for your project, right? And you go ahead with another project, or just another decision, and so on. So these are some things that you iteratively follow and build upon step by step, right? So maybe this could be a version v1, this could be a 2, 3, 4 over here, 5 over here, and 6. So you see how the application or your project is built over time. So this is what I want to follow. I don't want you to go from 1 to, like the 100 or 10, whatever, right, and give you like a project. I don't want to follow this method. I want to follow this method, so that way I can you know firstly I would build or explore things myself, but I also want to help you um, build that habit or build that um, kind of independency that you can work on, take up such projects, take up with that come up with that initial idea and then go on to build a decent workflow using that. If you see my text to SQL sort of this versions that we built. And by the way, if you're already good with LangChain and LangGraph, I would encourage you to follow this project. It's a decent project, I believe. Well, the project is really good. Just that the workflows. I don't know. I don't want to, of course, degrade myself, but I think they're decent enough. You see, we started with like version V0, V1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think the final version that I have built at the time is V6. I still have a lot of improvements to build on this, but you see how I built from like a minimum version, like a basic version, onto like a uh, complex LangGraph workflow. I'm still yet to add some human in the loop, some agentic workflows, and so on. But yeah, that was just to give a glimpse. We'll follow a similar approach here with this project. I think I've yapped a lot. Let's just go back to discussing the problem statement now. So, like I said, this is going to be a Reddit thread analyzer. Now, what is Reddit? I'm sure it's you pretty much you. I mean, pretty much all of you would know this. This is basically a social media app where you can find um, different threads, information, so on. I don't think I have to speak about it much. But the thing here is, let's say I've gone on to the startups and I've just opened a thread. It's about I stopped chasing ideas and something that the user has put through. And there are multiple comments here adding more insights to this, sharing their opinions or sharing their experiences, right? So one thing that happens here is you have these comments and you have comments within those comments, right? I'll show you, maybe there's another complex one. Yeah, so you have comments and you have like nested comments, and sometimes what happens is these comments go on, but then there's also like another comment that's related to this parent comment, right? So there's like threads within threads, and like like an inception of threads, right? And also you have these upwards downwards to indicate if an answer is really like supported, I don't know, liked among the community and so on. Now the problem with this kind of information is a bit noisy, right? It's not structured well. Well, it is, but there's only so much an human can make sense out of this, right? It's going to be really time consuming to go through all this information to grasp the right insight that's required. And then even if it does, even if a human is able to do it, if he's just exploring a bunch of threads, right, it's going to be really time consuming, and he's not going to grasp the right information that's required for him. So this is the kind of this is the pain point that I wanted to take up with this project. It's not necessarily to summarize, because that would be a really basic experiment with an LLM, but rather we want to retrieve useful information or insights from a given thread. So going back to this workflow, the core functionality that this app that we will build with is that the user would pass in a Reddit thread, and the LLM will share the insights with the user. Now, of course, we'll build upon this idea and we'll see how it goes. But roughly, what my end goal with this core functionality is, maybe we'll have multiple sort of personalities for the user, for the LLM. That's skilled at doing different tasks, of course, like summarizing, finding insights, maybe in the sentiment analyzer, and so on. We could also build some sort of RAG where the user can go on to ask questions like a QA chatbot from the retrieved information, and also make use of the LLM's existing strengths to then gather and have like a conversational AI. So these are just some rough ideas that I'm throwing in. We'll see how well this app shapes up in future. Um, Now, speaking of tech stack, we'll use Python, which will be the core programming language, and we'll use Reddit, JSON, or Pro. I'll speak about this later when we actually come to building the version v1, but these are essentially some methods to fetch the Reddit threads and the relevant comments. We'll use something like Fairs or ChromaDB, which are vector databases for storing embeddings and for semantic retrieval. We'll use LangGraph and LangChain for the LLM orchestration and workflows, and we'll use OpenAI GPT or any other LLM for actually the insight generation, summarization, etc. And finally, some sort of Streamlit or Gradio for simple UI for querying and getting the results. I think this is some kind of tech and tools that we'll use at top level, and as soon required we'll expand this. Yeah, so that's pretty much for this introduction. One thing that I wanted to cover with this sort of project idea is that this kind of idea, right, where you're building step by step, it is it has both advantages and disadvantages. Advantage is that it helps you replicate some real world problem solving, right? It lets you think in terms of design principles. It lets you understand where there are drawbacks both in terms of your skills and in terms of where the app can be built. um, so these are some good sides. Downside is that of course it's going to take time. If you're watching this video in the future, then obviously I'm sure there are like 4 or 5 videos already in the series and it's easy for you to watch. If not, I would encourage you to build this app with me. I'll try and post at least 2 or maybe 3 videos each week, with each version. So it would be a good practice for you to also explore and maybe in fact teach me, right? I'm no expert at this field. I'm learning as well, and I'm just sharing my learnings as I go. So I would encourage you to also you know put in your thoughts in the comments, and maybe we can of course I would try and incorporate them. um, yeah, and then yeah, and in speaking of downsides, right? It just you don't necessarily have like an end goal. It's left to how you want to shape. I think it's both good and bad. Good is that you can stop whenever you want. You can try and add any features you want, because in real life you will always want to cater to the customers, build specific features or specific workflows that's useful for the user, and may not necessarily be a learning or like a you know exciting for you. But yeah, uh, yeah, but nonetheless we'll try and um, make this workflow complex, try and replicate, try and make it like a production grade. But yeah, I think I've already yapped a lot. This video was supposed to be a quick introduction, but nonetheless, I hope it was informative. And I hope you are excited for the upcoming videos in this series. And yeah, that's it for the video. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.